Majora's Mask is a direct sequel, one of very few in the Legend of Zelda series, although at the time it did follow a trend of Zelda games. Zelda, Zelda 2, A Link to the Past, to Link's Awakening, which was later retconned by the Oracle games coming before them in the latest timeline update. Since this, we've only had two further mainline sequels, Phantom Hourglass after The Wind Waker, and Tears of the Kingdom after Breath of the Wild. Technically, Triforce Heroes is a sequel to A Link Between Worlds, but while that game is amazing, Triforce Heroes... The significance of a sequel is playing the same Link as the previous adventure, but in a new world combined with new obstacles. He has all the experience from the previous adventure, but he's been crippled by his circumstances. Whether it's waking up on a dream island or turning into a Deku Scrub, the in-game explanation of how Link once again has to start from scratch is extremely well thought out. Even in the Oracle games, Link starts from scratch as a trial of the Triforce itself. In Majora's Mask, once you finally return back to your Hylian form, you're essentially back into the same Kokiri kid at the end of Ocarina of Time. You have the shield, sword, and as the player, you have the experience of Ocarina that you reflect in-game through Link. Link is met with a reflective world of his own, with many returning and new faces, beginning with the happy mask salesman from Ocarina of Time, sparking the start of a 3-day cycle to complete his quest. The 3-day cycle is divisive, to say the least. And while I didn't love it at first, what with you starting from scratch every time you reset the cycle, all your previous work in each temple and region undone, it actually turned out to be one of the game mechanics I've enjoyed the most. In the days of the N64 cartridge, memory was limited, resulting in NPCs saying the exact same thing to you repeatedly. Majora's Mask fixes this problem, sort of. By having a 3-day cycle, the NPCs can have a progressive dialogue in the days and nights. The NPCs act differently, depending on which day it is. One of my favorite examples is a swordsman who laughs in the face of danger, while cowering at the end. The time reset also allows for endless treasure if you desired as much. The music in the central hub of the game, Clocktown, reflects the progression as well, starting calm and collected, with a slightly faster pace each day, culminating in the final hours in a beautiful yet haunting melody reflecting the impending doom that Termina is about to face. When I was younger, playing this for the first time, I never liked how what you had done previously was undone after the reset. Unlike in Ocarina, when you finished a temple, things went back to normal and stayed that way. Zora's Domain is an exception. However, in Majora's Mask, they couldn't do that, at least to an extent. In the 4 realms of Termina, there's a sort of infection. The swamp is poisoned. An endless winter, a smoggy sea, and a haunting dead presence. Link cures each location, typically by defeating the boss of their respective temples, or restarting a river. But when you reset the cycle, it all returns to square one. Again, as a kid, I didn't enjoy this, but as an adult, it's why I love this game so much. Restarting the world of your adventure is such a neat game idea. The developers even worked in a slight workaround to this. If you so desire, once you get back to the temple, you're free to play the boss battle once again, effectively curing each location again, and maybe even doing it to all of them before your final showdown, if you so desire. There's so many amazing side quests in this game. Romani's ranch and the aliens, Romani's caravan against the brothers, the monkey being sacrificed by the Deku, rescued by Link and the princess. Or even the Goron races when you return Spring to their home by defeating one of the most fun bosses, Goat. And depending on where you're at in the 3-day cycle, you're either in time or just too late to aid. There are many side quests, but none so as memorable or time-consuming as the Anju Cafe love story. One of the most intensive side quests in any Zelda game, this one is epic, fun, and engaging, which makes it all the more frustrating when you don't save the mask in time and have to start all over from day one. The dungeon side quests of collecting the pieces of fairy was always fun to me, and made the great fairy encounters all the more satisfying, especially when after the final dungeon you obtain the great fairy sword, which is equipped in an item slot, which to me at the time was absolutely mind-blowing, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I think the biggest disappointment I've ever had in a Zelda game is in this one, with the total waste of the Razor Sword. This was used as promotional art for the game. I was so excited to swing this sword slicing through bad guys. But no, once I got the game and got to the sword upgrades, I was sorely disappointed that this wasn't the final blade of the game. Worse yet, it only allowed for 100 hits before returning to the previous blade. While the Gilded Sword is a great design in its own right, the Razor to me was always the end game. Oh well, what are you gonna do? The last thing I'll mention as to why I love this game is that the reward for collecting all the masks is one of, if not the best reward a Zelda game offers, in the Fierce Deities mask. Putting this bad boy on, you can make short work of the final boss Majora, a battle that, on its own, offers a fun enough challenge, but it's completely changed if you have this mask. Taking mere seconds, you can defeat the Terror of Termina. In the end, the NPCs, the time restart, and the transformation masks are all amazing, endearing moments that make this game memorable. Clocktown has always had a peaceful tranquility to it, a safety, and it held so many great secrets waiting for a young me to discover. All this and so much more make Majora's Mask one of my favorite Zelda games. Thank you for watching.